Hello everyone, and welcome to Linux Forensics here at Pentester Academy. In this video, we're going to start to do some file system analysis on our pas2 image. We've managed to figure out a few things using volatility in the memory image, so now it's time to get serious about figuring out exactly what happened. So we're going to start by mounting our image, and we're going to use our old friend, our mount image Python file, and then we will do a little bit of analysis using standard Linux tools. And now we're mounted, so there's several things that we can do right away. We can look at who has user ID 1001, so we can go to the etc directory and we can grep for 1001 in password, and it tells us that Michael Keaton has that user ID. So Michael Keaton, his account at least, was used at some point in this attack. Now, another thing that we discovered in this analysis of the memory was that there had been a backdoor installed, the Weavely backdoor. One thing we might also want to do is to have a look at the web server logs. And those are, of course, under var log. We're looking at Apache 2. And we see several different kinds of logs. We have our access logs and our error logs. So we might first want to have a look at our error logs to see if there was anything funny going on. And then we might also have a look at our access logs. We see here that there isn't much in our most recent error log. So we'll have a look at the first archive. Now we do see a couple of things that occurred on May 3rd. Right here, I see a sig term caught, and it was shutting down. Here I see sig term caught and shutting down again, and another sig term. So that's kind of interesting that we have so many sig terms coming through here. And here is another interesting thing. There's an error. It says access denied for root at localhost using password no in MySQL handler PHP, which almost seems to imply that somebody tried to access MySQL via the website unsuccessfully. In fact, what do we see here? We see repeated attempts that also failed. And these are all around the time of our breach, or expected time of our breach, I should say. Uncaught exception, and more access denied messages. So I think it's safe to say that there were quite a few suspicious things that happened all around the same time with this web server. We can, of course, have a look at the access logs and try to correlate them with that approximate time frame. Now, these, of course, are naturally much larger, but you might want to open these into a text editor. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So here we can see all of our access logs, and we can see where everyone was coming from. Now, in our case, because this was run in a virtual box, everyone is coming in from the same place. Now, one thing that we could do to make this simple is we could search for something like PHP, and this will tell us all the times that someone got a PHP web page. This will at least highlight the different things that are being called. Now, one thing I noticed right away is that there is this page, DNS lookup PHP, that's being called an awful lot. Now, I wouldn't normally expect this page to be called that often, so I might be suspicious. I might say, this must be some sort of an attack, and the attacker must think that that particular guy is vulnerable. So again, look at all of these successive calls to this one page. If we go back to our terminal window, we can use grep, and we can get a little bit more information about this. So I'm going to grep on DNS lookup PHP and access log 1. And this gives me all of those lines. And I'm just going to see how many there are by piping this to word count-l to give me just the number of lines. So this one command was called 51 times, which again is extremely suspicious given that this is not a widely used thing. It's not the main page for this website. So this might be an indication that the website was compromised through this. So one thing you might want to do is come back later and have a look at this particular PHP page and see if it might be subject to some sort of SQL injection, etc. Well, that's all for this video. As always, if you're enjoying these videos here at Pentester Academy, please tell a friend. We'll see you soon.